This toy shop was one of the most popular ones in the town, and new stock needed to be imported daily in order to keep the shelves stacked. The shop was often chaotic and full of children with their parents, but during the upcoming clip, it was empty, likely due to closure. The time was 3 a.m., so of course a bunch of children weren't going to be seeking new toys. Something else was though. As you all know, 3 a.m. is known as the witching hour, and it is safe to say that this video upheld that reputation strongly.
Okay, here's a video of our gift shop. I was actually walking by the gift shop and I heard this owl right in the middle here falling over. However, looking back, there's some other items in the middle or the right that fall over as well. So let me show you the owl first. Or actually, there's something that just fell over. Let's look at that. Okay, let me back up a little bit. Okay. Looks like it's that little... I have a brass angel in the middle there. And it looks like it's what fell up. There it goes. Yeah. Okay, so I didn't see that before, but watch this owl. Let me go forward. That was at 3:24. So the owl actually takes a little while. Oh, I just noticed something else. Hold on. Okay, looks like that little bird cage in the middle of the screen right here. It's about to do something also. Saw it move when I was going through it. There it goes. Okay, so that falls over. But the owl actually falls off here in a second. There it goes. You'll see the owl in the middle. Well, at that point, I'm going to zoom out here because I'm actually walking by and I heard the owl. Can't see it in frame anymore, but it's on the ground. So like I said, this is our gift shop here at the hotel. It's 3:28 a.m. I walk in, I see the owl. I also noticed the little disturbance on the right there as well. Figure out what's going on, what made the owl fall. I'm looking at the other figurines and everything else that was disturbed. But I didn't see any issues, so I'm waiting to see if it'll happen while I'm in there. Nothing did. Alright, so that's just something that happened. I've never seen anything really happen much in this gift shop, so I'm going to keep an eye on it.
For some reason, several items fell from the shelves, and eventually, the owner of the store who happened to live above the store heard the noises and went downstairs to check. He assumed there must have been a burglar trying to steal their supplies for an easy resell, but was extremely confused to find nothing. He explained after the event that he felt an eerie feeling in the toy shop that night, but it vanished the next time he entered. Whatever was in there was only a temporary present, but it definitely had a lasting effect on the owner. A vase is an item used by people to hold flowers that have been pulled out of the soil. Because the water allows the plant to still gain nutrients without soil and survive, as well as acting as a stand to keep them looking nice and neat. The man in the following video, Adrian, had just purchased 3 new vases as Valentine's Day was rapidly approaching and he wanted to gift his girlfriend of 5 years as many flowers as possible. To his dismay though, they began to move off camera, which was very strange, so he decided to try and capture it on tape for social media. He set up a camera on the tabletop, aiming at the vases, and left it there whilst he scrolled on his phone. It didn't take long for results to come in.
Whoa, do you see that? What the fuck? Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. 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 Oh shit. 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 Oh god. Oh shit. Oh. Okay. I should probably just...
Somehow, the biggest vase started to slide across the floor towards the man, and he understandably stood up and ran to another room. Fortunately though, he managed to catch the movement on camera this time, and tell his story to the world without being considered a literal psychopath. In India, a popular form of working out is park gyms, and these are very unique compared to what we use in the West. Instead of working out in a large, sweaty building, these people have equipment set up in parks, and most of these are public use, meaning that the users do not have to spend $30 a month to stay healthy. On a Saturday night, some police were called down to a park, which hosted a gym, because there was suspicion around a potential crime in the area. When they arrived there, they expected to find a criminal trying their hardest to escape, or at least some tracks. What they found instead, though, was beyond shocking. Strangely, one of the pieces of gym equipment started to move by itself, as if someone was working out with it. What made things even more weird was the fact that both sides of the machine were doing this, so either there were 2 ghosts present that night, or the one had telepathic powers. I guess we will never truly know, but feel free to comment which one you think stands correct down below. William Stone, just your regular American teenager, was convinced that his house was haunted, but unfortunately, his parents refused to believe his tales. Over the past few months of his life, he had constantly been explaining paranormal events to his father, and he was seriously considering sending William to a counselor, desperate to save himself from being deemed insane. Though, William started to run some experiments. His goal was to prove that the spirit haunting him, James, was in fact a legitimate entity, and finally gain the moral support of his loved ones. The piece of footage you are about to see took place during one of his tests, and it was on the more simple side of things. William simply lit up a candle and expected James to move it for him, since the candle was the most frequently haunted thing in the house. This is what happened.
Can you do it one more time? James. One more time. Thank you. Oh, shit.
Surprisingly, James actually listened to William and moved the candle not once, but twice. This was highly unexpected because William expected the poltergeist to be camera shy after doing some research, but this did not seem to be the case at all. With his newfound evidence, he went to his father immediately after he arrived home from work and showed the video to him. To his dismay though, his father called him a liar and said that the video must have been faked with a string or something along those lines. William must keep experimenting or his goals of being accepted by society may come to a close. If he posts anything else, you will see him again on this channel, so make sure to subscribe. In the following video, Yvonne, an unmarried yet taken woman, was home alone because her boyfriend was out drinking with his friends. He had planned this occasion a good 2 months prior because it was his birthday the weekend after, so despite being annoyed, Yvonne accepted that it was okay for him to leave her for a night. She would not have come to this conclusion if she knew what was going to happen though. The clock ticked until it reached 4 a.m. and Yvonne was starting to feel sick. Her boyfriend had not come home yet, but did message her that he was okay, just having fun. Still though, she wanted to hug him before going to bed. During the peak of these stress levels, things couldn't get worse. At least that was what she believed to be the case. She started to hear some random sounds from the kitchen and got up to investigate what was going on. Once she was up, a saucer fell from the cupboard, which closed itself up again. Afterwards, and based on the deep breathing we could hear from the microphone, Yvonne did not take this too well. It is in fact explained one day later on her feed that she passed out shortly after releasing her thumb from the record button and woke up 10 minutes later on the floor. She is now okay, and her boyfriend made it home just fine. This was an eventful night for a poor woman, and we can only hope that whatever caused it does not strike her again. The noise of banging is arguably one of the most annoying sounds on the planet. The loudness, the repetitiveness, and the lack of necessity all come together to induce stress into anyone that hears it, especially when it's coming from your own front door. Bilal, a middle-aged man who lived alone, was watching some television in peace when he started to hear some crazy banging from his front doorway. Only when he went to check did he realize that he should have stayed seated.
Pues he escuchado muchos comentarios de la gente, dicen que es un audio, otros dicen que son gatos. Yo espero que sí se sean porque pues la verdad yo ya no aguanto esta situación. La única puerta de madera es esta. Se escucha que alguien está golpeteando. Pues no les miento, yo estoy solo aquí, no hay truco, no hay nadie. No hay nadie detrás de la pared, si es lo que piensan. O sea, no, la verdad no. No me explico esto. No sé qué está pasando. Yo dejé mi puerta cerrada y ahora resulta que está abierta. No hay nada afuera. Voy a asomar por acá. Tampoco. Yo no sé qué pasa de verdad, pero al chingada, voy a dormir otro día, no aguanto.
poco. Yo no sé qué pasa de verdad, pero...
Bilal went outside to investigate the banging noises, and to his dismay, no one was at the front door. Now I can already picture the comments of people saying that this must have been a game of ding-dong ditch or something along those lines, but it was very late. What children are out playing at that time? On top of this, after closing the door after checking for people, the knocking started seconds later, which would have been impossible had it not been a spirit. It was late at night when a couple were fast asleep together. It did not take long for something horrible to intercept their dreams, though. The time was 2 a.m. and Giovanni, the male of the relationship, was struggling to enter deep slumber, unlike his girlfriend, Morgan, who was knocked out. He rolled around for a bit, trying to get comfortable, but just as he succeeded, the most uncomfortable thing imaginable occurred.
Que porra é essa, mano?
Vem cá.
Que porra é essa?
Amor.
If you listen closely, the voice of a woman could be heard, and this was the same voice as the one Morgan had. This made no sense to Giovanni, because his girlfriend was in a deep sleep, so how could she have been by the door? Well, the truth is that she wasn't. Confused, Giovanni pretended that nothing happened and pinned it down to tiredness. But it wouldn't be long before his girlfriend experienced the same thing. One night after this incident at a similar time, both members of the couple were asleep. None of them were having any struggles with their rest, but eventually, Morgan had to use the toilet and rose. This would be the biggest regret of her life. Coming from the bathroom, the voice of Giovanni could be heard, and he was most definitely in the bed when she left. To add on to this, the sound of heavy footsteps started nearing towards Morgan, and she reasonably allowed her body to enter flight mode. However, despite running away, she would still encounter the spirit one last time, except this time around, the couple were in it together.
Shoo, acorda. Tá aqui.
Amor.
Vai embora da minha casa agora!
Deixa entrar.
Você não é bem-vindo aqui!
Me deixa entrar. Sou eu.
Vai embora!
Me deixa entrar.
Ele não tá passando. Ele não vai passar. Ele não passa.
Me deixa entrar.
This happened at 3 a.m. on the dot, and it is important to note that this ritual was not set up by either of them, nor did they own the candles. The ritual was designed to stop holy spirits from entering the household, but to allow demons to. The couple had no choice but to evacuate to Giovanni's father's until they could purchase a new place. On July 22nd of 2011, a man called Richard was home alone when he experienced one of the creepiest things of his entire life. It was 3 in the afternoon when he heard something drop onto the floor in his kitchen and decided to investigate with his camera. It was at this point that he captured the following video.
Do it again. Wasting my time, stopped. Nope, it's removed. Do it again. just yet. Can you communicate with me, please? Throwing stuff around. I don't know if to make it out if that's because it's a cross or just because it was light or just because I'd drawn around it. Oh, this is getting sketchy. I'm going to go out the car now, open the window. Okay. Yeah, that in time.
Strangely, many items in the room started to drop to the floor without anyone else in the house. Richard claims that all the windows in the house were closed at the time, so this couldn't have been caused by the wind. Something else must have been in the room. Things got much creepier when the cross Richard had placed in the room flew to the ground more aggressively than any other item, indicating that the spirit definitely wasn't on the holy side of things. Richard understandably fled the house and waited outside, recording through the window in case something else occurred. However, nothing happened ever again. Could this have been a coincidence, or did a ghost pop in to say hello? I guess we'll never truly know. In this next video, two friends have just arrived home from a night out, and one of them decides to go upstairs. This leaves the eldest one, Sophia, alone downstairs. At least she thinks that is the case. The time hits 3 a.m., and Sophia is about to go upstairs to get some rest. However, as she closes the kitchen door, she realizes there was a third friend in the house.
Okay, there's nobody here, right? Nobody here. What is that? Because it is not me. This is me leaving, closing the door. What the fuck is that? And here comes the door back opening. And nobody's there. But yet.
Somehow, the mirror reflected a second person in frame, ahead of Sophia. What makes this weird is that no one is actually in front of her, and the figure can only be spotted when looking into the mirror. Sophia speculates that the person was one of her old friends, Lexi, who unfortunately died in a car crash a year prior. Lexi used to hang out with Sophia and her other friend all the time, so it made sense as to why she decided to appear for the night out. Regardless, it left Sophia spooked, and when she showed her friend the video, they both went to bed in the same room. The following video was recorded in the basement of a young family's home with a couple and their daughter. The family had only recently moved into the house as they had migrated from California to Philadelphia for work reasons, but none of them knew how much this would change their lives. Upon moving into the house, they all noticed strange events happening in the basement, with most of them being self-moving objects. However, it wasn't until the upcoming clip was captured that they had concrete evidence. Take a look.
Like I was saying earlier, most of the stuff does happen down here. And I mean, you can't really. There it is. That's freaky stuff right there. Yep, that's what you call it. Freaks me out, man. It's giving me goosebumps. What, here we go with the door now. Yeah, we'll do that. Ooh, that's creepy. So that door always swings wide open and it stays open. It doesn't ever close. Stay like that. Oh, there you go. Let go of it. Oh crap, that's freaky.
Out of nowhere, a can falls down from the shelves, and the way it does this is very weird. If we zoom into it, we can see that it tilts to the left before actually falling, which is completely unexplainable. Following the can came 2 blue spray paint containers, another white container, and the door even closed itself. The father who recorded the video immediately went to the local church and asked a priest to bless the house, and he got what he wished for. Since the blessing, no paranormal activity has happened in the house, but who knows if it'll come and strike again. During the winter of 2021, an Arab ghost hunter named Hamza was commissioned to search a local residence that had supposedly been haunted for the last 15 years. Every known residence of the house in that time span reported paranormal activity, but it took ages for someone to pay a hunter to come and confirm this. It was 1 a.m. when Hamza arrived on site and went into the building. Little did he know this was going to be one of his creepiest shifts ever.
هذا المكان أبي أروحه يا جماعة. بسم الله بسم الله يا جماعة، لا يكون هذا جنة بنويرة وهذا واحد. شوفوا 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 يا جماعة. يما أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات. يا جماعة ماني عارف أدخل المكان. شوفوا هذا يطالع يا جماعة، أقسم بالله كأنه يطالع. لازم أدخل وأشوف إيش السالفة.
When inspecting the building before he entered it, something terrifying caught the eye of Hamza. On the second floor of the building, something white could be seen, poking its head around the window and staring at him creepily, and when he acknowledged it, it slowly disappeared behind the blinds. Now, in this situation, the majority of people would call it a day, but since Hamza's job is to hunt spirits, he wasn't fazed by a sighting this poor. Because of this, he decided to enter the building, and what happened when he went inside was shocking.
أبوك بسم الله. الصوت من وين؟ يا جماعة اختفى الصوت، اختفى الصوت. أعوذ بكلمات لا تمات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. شوف يا جماعة. لا 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 يا جماعة، معليش أعتذر منكم، موقع جديد وأبو خالد مرة بعيد عني، فاستودعتكم الله الذي لا تضيع ودائعه. لا إله إلا الله. يا جماعة هذه طارت هناك. لا في صوت. ورب الكعبة في صوت يا جماعة. حطوا السماعات يا جماعة، حطوا السماعات.
Weirdly, large, heavy footsteps could be heard upstairs when Hamza entered the building, and this resulted in him going upstairs to check it out. When he reached the top of the stairs, he came face to face with a metal pipe across the corridor, except it was no normal pipe. It collapsed without anyone else in the room, leading Hamza to believe he had enough evidence of a spirit. He called his mission a day and reported his sightings back to the house owners. They decided to bless the house, and no updates were given as to whether or not it worked. On a Tuesday night, a police guard called Jay was working on a night shift. His job was to sit in the main office to greet visitors, watch the cameras, and fend off any intruders. But on this night, none of these instances came into play. Jay was just an hour away from finishing his shift at the time this video was filmed, but what CCTV captured really freaked him out. Take a look.
Just look real close. Just look. It's coming from the door, from outside. See it? It's faint. It's real faint. I'm looking at it, I'm like, hold on, let me feel if it's real, it's cold too. When I put my hand up there by it, it's real cold. Then it went back there towards the door, all the way back there in the back. I'm like, whoa. I wanted to see, it went close to me or some shit. I'm like, oh, so ghosts, because ghosts do give out like a cold chill, like when you put, like, it's like a cold breeze there. I'm like, okay. Shit, I saw it came from outside too. I'm like, damn. And I wasn't even freaked out. I just wanted to see how it felt. I was like, so that motherfucker cold in the mug. So I saw it. That shit is crazy, man. It's been a while since I've seen this, so like I said, it come every now and then, but you have to look real hard though, real hard to see it. It came from here and it went real slow. Just look real hard when you rewind the video.
If you look closely, you can see a faint figure sliding its way through the door into the main office. Fortunately, Jay was lucky enough to have been paying attention, otherwise he would have missed the spirit's entry. Upon seeing it, he decided to reach his hands out to feel its presence, and claimed to have immediately become much colder. When a ghost is in the room, temperatures tend to drop, so all the details added towards a paranormal event. If that wasn't enough to convince Jay though, what the spirit did next definitely was.
Saw that motherfucker. But this one, he did something, this one did something crazy this time. Look at the left, see it? Coming from the left, I see it. Then it start going up towards the exit sign. Then going towards the left, all the way down to the bottom left. And I'm like, the fuck? And it like disappeared or something. Then I started hearing noise down towards that door all the way to the back. I started hearing shit, then I heard like the door rattle. I was like, what the fuck? I heard the door rattle, man. Oh my God. Like it wanted to go in the back, like that's the boiler room back there. So I'm like, I'm like, oh hell no. Hell fucking no. My heart was just beating like a I was trying to calm down so bad. I'm like, okay. All right. But that was it, man.
About 5 minutes after entering the building, the ghost made a second appearance, and Jay was much more spooked by it. It started by gliding around the door, again, only faintly being visible. Next, it started making noises around the building to mess with Jay, and this is when he started to get very confused. As if this wasn't enough, the door at the end of the corridor started rattling as if the spirit wanted to enter it, and it was at this point Jay knew something else was definitely in the building. However, it disappeared for a few weeks. Jay reported that he had 2 weeks with no paranormal activity during his night shifts, but of course this ceasefire had to come to an end. It was a fortnight after the initial recording of the ghost that the final video of the saga was captured, and it was the creepiest of them all.
Hey everyone, I'm back. It's been a few things that's been happening, but I wasn't able to record at the time. You know, the normal stuff, like the little white mist showed up and stuff back then. Like, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It came from the from the, what's this, the mail room, and it went that way, but I couldn't record at the time. So, but I know y'all probably tired of seeing that anyway, but I saw it, but I was like, damn, the epidemic didn't even stop that motherfucker from showing up. So, well, this is something new something new that just happened. You know, I'm just, I'll just go through the cameras, see if anything's going on and stuff. But this apartment right here is vacant. This is on the 9th floor. This is vacant. Ain't nobody in there. I don't know. I mean, it probably could be debunked. So it could be the wind or anything, but, or, I don't know. But it just kept, like somebody trying to open it. It could be the wind. I don't know. It probably could be debunked. So I'm just saying it could be explained and it could not be. So I'm just showing y'all something unusual that never happened before. All these other vacant buildings, like vacant apartments that I don't see them move on their own like that. So watch this door right here. Just watch this door. You don't see it move. See? Watch. See? So like somebody trying to open it, see? Look at that shit. Now it could be the wind, I don't know. But has this happened? Have y'all seen stuff like this before? Door trying to open, like bounce, like opening in and out like that. Like that. See that shit? The fuck? But it's been, see, then it stopped. The fuck type of shit is that? Somebody explain that. If not, then that's crazy. But explain that, please.
Strangely, the door was moving in a very peculiar motion which couldn't have been caused by anything natural. Jay tries to play it off as the wind being weird, but wind only goes in one direction, and that door was moving back and forth. If you have any explanation for this door moving, then let me know in the comments, but it's going to be very difficult to convince me. Dolls and toys are considered by many to be the most haunted things on the planet. For some reason, tons of evil spirits such as poltergeists, demons, and skinwalkers love to possess them, and the following video is an example of this. Have a watch.
So, here is a video of me and my son visiting the old storage unit, where I keep all my fancy collectibles. I will say the place is rather frightening, especially the basement level of this facility. And here's the doll you've all been asking for close-ups of. I found this at a swap meet, and I immediately knew this was worth something. I've had a lot of skeptics argue with me, but I do believe it's cursed. And you'll see why in just a moment. And so the workers at the storage place brought me to their office and showed me a video of my unit, saying they heard loud noises inside. They thought it was me, which I surely denied. They wanted proof, so I gave it to them. I've been told it's a poltergeist, which I had no idea what that meant, until I saw a couple of videos online of said phenomenon. But just watch the video for yourself. Super creepy stuff.
The man claims that he found the doll at a swap meet and immediately knew it was worth something. It looked extremely creepy and didn't look anything like a children's toy should do. Regardless, the man took the doll, as he collects strange items of its kind, and decided to place it inside his storage unit. Luckily, the place he stored his collectibles at had CCTV within the units, which meant they were able to capture the unexplainable clip. Somehow, the toy moved by itself and scanned the room for things to do. However, it looked disappointed that it was trapped in a unit and immediately dropped back to to the floor. It's a good thing they didn't keep it at home. In the following video, Rasmus, a young Russian man, was woken up late at night by a mysterious noise. The rest of his family were supposed to be fast asleep, so this confused him to a crazy extent, so much that it stressed him out and he wanted some answers. With that said, he rolled out of bed and approached the source of the noise. What happened next was something even he couldn't have predicted if he tried.
Время 2:30 ночи, а мы только начинаем веселиться. Проснулся от стука из шкафа. А это одна сторона, левая дверца, слегка приоткрывается и стучит. Не знаю, видно, не видно. Такая хуйня, ребята.
Somehow, the closet continuously opened and closed until it prompted Rasmus to open it up and see what was happening inside. To his dismay though, he found nothing except some swinging clothes hangers, which in fairness was weird in its own right. It made no sense how the hangers were swinging because the doors were closed, meaning that no wind or anything of the sort could enter. Some kind of entity was in his closet, and I guess he will never know what. Now, in the last video, we took a look into the life of Isaiah, a middle-aged man who was left home alone one night when some insane stuff happened to him. What occurred in that video is very important to the upcoming clip, so I'll provide a brief summary. In short, his girlfriend was out with her friends, and once she left, all kinds of paranormal stuff started happening around the house. From moving objects to strange noises, Isaiah wasn't given a break until his girlfriend arrived home, and he didn't tell her to protect her from the fear. Surprisingly, once she arrived home, everything suddenly stopped, and Isaiah was left stunned as to why the hauntings only happened whilst she wasn't present. In order to test this theory, he gave her his debit card and asked her to go and get some Starbucks for them both, to which she was happy and left. It was at this moment that the following piece of footage was captured, and things got weird, to say the least. Like last time, the paranormal activity skyrocketed. From banging noises to objects falling to the ground, Isaiah was greeted with the exact same torment as last time. It was not good whatsoever. When his girlfriend came back for a second time, he made her aware of what was happening, but unfortunately, she was too high to understand what he was talking about. We have not received an update since, but you'll be the first to know once we do, so subscribe. On June the 23rd of 2020, during the beginning of a long coronavirus pandemic, the following CCTV footage was captured. It was taken within a small shop, restocking their toilet paper supplies for obvious reasons. As most of you will know, toilet paper was a rare material during 2020. The store workers expected people to come flooding in to come and purchase some of the paper, but to their surprise, something unexpected came to pay them a visit before the large crowds. Take a look.
Fíjate, es que no hay nadie. Y se cae. Y después sale Tao.
Ya me los pusieron mal.
¿Tú crees que los hayan puesto mal?
Se los vas a caer así solo.
Y de ahí sale Alicia. Yo no creo que se hayan caído solos.
Pues se cayó solos, o sea.
Strangely, the toilet paper fell from the shelf onto the floor, and the man working in the store was clearly confused by this. The odd thing about this was that the paper had been there for a good 20 minutes without collapsing, and no sudden movement happened next to it. It most definitely didn't occur due to anything natural. They knew that a spirit was in the store, but did not tell a soul in case they lost customers by having a scare factor. The video only came about recently after the store was sold on to a bigger company. James was playing video games late at night and didn't want his parents to catch him. He had a strict curfew for 10 o'clock and was still playing at 1 a.m., which was far later than he should have been. Not that he cared all that much. As long as he didn't talk to any of his friends and kept his headset on so he could hear if his parents were coming for him, he would have been more than okay. But he let his awareness slip for a moment and the worst possible scenario happened. Spoiler, it did not involve his parents. While he was in an intense fight of some sort, the wardrobe slowly creaked open in the background, and he should have been able to hear the noise of it creaking. Due to him failing to catch this, the door slammed before he could do anything about it, and he instantly powered off his console and jumped into bed. Fortunately, his parents bought the idea that he was asleep and walked back out after looking around for a moment. The next day, they told him the story of how they heard a bang upstairs, and James couldn't help but let out a smirk at the thought that they believed him. Well, if they did before, they didn't anymore. He was grounded on the spot. The following video took place on a cold winter night, the weather perfectly aligning with that was about to unfold. Peaceful, yet empty and dark, full of shivers from the cold. It was 2 a.m. when the piece of content was filmed and happened in a large farm field. You may be wondering what a man was doing on these fields late at night. The answer would be that I have no clue. All we can do is guess. What I am aware of, though, is the strange phenomena caught on camera here on that very night, and it happens right here. At the first glance, it is very difficult to understand what was actually strange about this clip. On the surface, it seems like quite a chill location to spend the evening, but trust me, after zooming in, we find out otherwise. 2 minutes and 12 seconds into the video, the figure of a human being could be seen inside the house, which was clearly abandoned. We know this because for the remainder of the video, the creator actually searched the house, and nobody was seen in there. Well, technically, you see, just shortly after entering the building, another unexplainable thing was seen, and this time, it was much more intimidating. Have a watch. Behind the window, eyes could be seen glaring at the creator, and surprisingly, they did not notice a thing until watching the footage back. The eyes become ever more mysterious when you take into account the fact that they vanished out of thin air just moments after appearing. Very peculiar indeed. Most ghost encounters that are covered on this channel are not evil and more spirits trying to annoy their victims. However, every now and then we come across some of the most demonic things captured on Earth, purposefully attempting to harm humans. Unfortunately, this is the type of spirit we are about to discuss. The video happened during the Chinese Ghost Festival, which the creator, Xiao Long, explained to be one of the scariest experiences around. He visited the place that he did in the video because it was known for its haunted activity on this day, and knew that if he filmed there, he would be able to convince people around the world that spirits were real, and the ghosts did not fail to disappoint, perhaps taking things a tad bit too far.
操你妈！
Not only were the stairs sugar-coated in blood, but as Xiao went to investigate what was going on, a large iron plate collapsed, almost hitting him. It is extremely uncommon for an entity of any form to attempt harm on someone from the living world, so Xiao caught something crazy here, although he still wished it wouldn't have happened. This was nowhere near the scariest event of the night though, and Xiao was moments away from finding out. After running from the room that the prior incident occurred in, he started to hear repetitive knocking and instinctively followed it until he came across a door. This door seemed normal on the surface, and Xiao was very tempted to see what was on the other side. Did he give in to these temptations? Well, you'll have to watch and find out.
里边还有走道声。扶手在底下，你妈逼的出来！ 我操你妈，这里这么臭啊！我操！啊！手！啊！我操！我操！
Xiao was greeted by a bathtub full to the brim with blood. Understandably, this freaked him out a lot, but due to his kind-heartedness, he went to investigate in case someone was alive and dying in there. To his dismay, something was there, but nothing he could have helped. A hand-like shape was in the blood and vanished just moments after making its appearance. Was this the apparition of a spirit? Let me know what you think in the comments. I know what my answer is. This couple, Harry and Sarah, had been together for 6 months, and since they were entering adulthood, they decided to finally rent out a house together. They agreed to split the rent 60-40, with the man paying more. He agreed to this considering he worked full-time while the woman still worked part-time, so it did make sense that he paid most of the bills. Sarah really wanted a pet cat though, so she was in a mood with Harry during this video because he said their dog would hate the creature and it would be stupid to purchase one. However, all grudges would be put aside after what was about to happen to them.
Hello? Oh my god!
Randomly, the sound of the door opening and closing came from down in the basement, and the couple were extremely confused. Sarah came running out of her room to tell Harry off for being annoying, but the last thing she expected to happen, happened. Harry said hello to whatever was causing the banging down there, and to his dismay, it came running up right at him. Immediately after seeing this, Sarah demanded that the basement be locked shut and said that if she saw him down there again, she'd slap him in a heartbeat. He wasn't going to listen though. In fact, he waited 2 days until the next time he was home alone and had another glimpse down there. 10 minutes after she left, it was action time. Just like the last time, strange noises could be heard, with one of them being the sound of a ball dropping. Harry fancied his chances and walked down the basement steps, though this is when the odd creature chased him again. Since this day, Harry and Sarah have kept the basement door locked at all times and hear the occasional banging coming from inside there. When they have children, they plan to move out of the home, and for good reason. Sometimes in life, people find themselves in the perfect place at the perfect time. The stars seemingly align, and something excellent happens out of the blue. However, on the flip side of that, others find themselves in the wrong place at the wrong time. Everything seems to go horribly at one specific moment, and there is seemingly nothing you can do about it. The feeling that the office worker in the following video was forced to endure. It was roughly 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, and Paul was doing a shift in the factory. He decided to visit the leisure room on his 15-minute break. Little did he know that something else was waiting for him there. Weirdly, as he entered the room, everything started to act up around him, with the most notable thing being the chair moving. He instantly sprinted out of the room to safety, but this is when things started to get much more severe. The lights on the other side of the door began to flicker, and eventually it opened and closed by its own accord. This was a very creepy day for Paul, and his boss granted him a week holiday upon checking the security cameras for evidence of the incident. Nothing like this has happened in the building since. During the day, Riley, the creator of the upcoming clip, had a very normal life. He worked at a local restaurant and was in a happy relationship with his girlfriend, Becca. They both lived together in an apartment, and it was quite big for that status. It had 4 rooms, with each being rather spacious, the dream place of residence for a couple that young. At night, Becca had a job she needed to attend at their local McDonald's, which she would do for 7 hours. She usually left the house at 9 p.m. and came back home at 4 a.m., a schedule that no one would dream of. Unfortunately for Riley though, every time she left the house something else came in, and the upcoming piece of footage captured what he had to go through every time Becca left for work. Suddenly, as Riley was fast asleep, a repetitive noise started happening, and he stood up to see what it was. To his dismay, the door handle kept shaking, and he didn't know what to do about it. At one point, it even went as far as locking. Once whatever was causing this stopped, Riley was out for blood, and he exited his room, searching for the cause. Just like every other night this happened, he found no one and decided to hide it from his girlfriend, so she didn't get scared. He still endures it to this day, but is very close to snapping and contacting his local church for help. In the following video, which took place in Russia, a man was having a drink when something absolutely absurd happened. He explained after the event that he had no idea how to respond to it and didn't want to live in his house for any longer. You wouldn't blame him if you saw what happened, which you're about to. It occurred at 11:16 on a Friday morning and left the poor man confused for weeks. Have a watch. The cupboard somehow opened without any visible cause and spilled some of its contents, specifically mugs, onto the floor. What made this the next level of odd was that the mugs didn't smash. They were made from the same material that every mug is, and we all know that if you drop one of those things from such a height, it would certainly shatter upon impact. Perhaps the ghost guided them down instead of actually dropping them. We'll never really know because we couldn't see it in action. On January 26th of 2022, a peculiar video was uploaded to YouTube by the user Hobgoblin Channel. The video sparked so much controversy that it received a yellow flag from YouTube in its early days of release. But shortly after appealing, it was allowed to be shown in all regions across the world. It featured 2 men who worked in a power center in India. One of them was the boss of the place, whilst the other was giving him some new information on how a new project was going. But that information couldn't have been more irrelevant after what happened next. Surprisingly, after watching such a strange phenomenon happen in front of their very own eyes, the duo decided to carry on working. They had a huge day in front of them and thought that brushing such a minuscule event under the shoulder would do way more good than harm. They were wrong. All it did was incentivize the spirit behind the act to continue. The chairs moved for a second time, except this time around the men weren't taking any second chances. They got out of the room as quickly as they could, and the boss used some of the company's budget to hire ghost hunters to clear the property. The report was never made public, but we can only hope that all the workers in the place turned out to be okay. Hospitals, despite being the most helpful places imaginable, are also the most miserable. They are full of people who are in pain and suffering, eagerly waiting their turn to be treated, whilst watching other people ahead of them in line getting served. They are not a nice place to be at all. That just goes for normal hospitals though. Abandoned ones are on a whole different level. In the following video, a group of teenage boys asked their parents if they could quote-unquote play outside, but what they did instead was much more dangerous. They decided to explore an entire abandoned hospital to see what would happen, and they didn't regret it, until they checked one of the snaps they sent to a friend.
Familia, estamos aquí en el hospital Felipe Borne. Son las... ¿Qué hora es, familia? ¿Qué hora es? La 1:08. La 1:08.
While they were in the hospital, they didn't actually notice this, but at 34 seconds, another figure could be seen ahead of them before it vanished into thin air. They were extremely fortunate that their friend pointed this out to them, and they vowed to never pay that place a second visit. First time lucky, second time not so. An apparition is a clear sighting of a ghost. Unlike normal encounters, where something invisible torments you, apparition sightings are when the spirit makes itself completely visible to the human eye, and they are much creepier than any other paranormal event, with many people who would back that claim up. This clip showcases an apparition captured on the highway, and I'll leave it up to you to give me your thoughts in the comments. Remember to subscribe while you're lurking down there as well. In the middle of the road was seemingly a human, and the driver panicked because they were way too close to slow down in time. They planned on quickly turning around them in the last moments, but were shocked when the figure vanished from thin air. Fortunately, the passenger happened to be recording during this event, because for some reason the dashcam didn't pick up the same image. A very strange scenario indeed. Anthony, an Englishman who supports the famous club Arsenal, was home watching their recent highlights. He couldn't afford to subscribe to the channels that stream the Premier League matches, so he always had to watch the goals afterwards. Although he was adamant that after he got out of university, this would no longer be the case. He lived in a small apartment, which had served him well for just under a year. However, during recent times, he encountered some pretty strange things. From noises to things moving in the corner of his eye, he knew that something was up. The only question was what. After a bit of contemplating, Anthony decided to take out his camera and attempt to capture something weird for the world to see. Did he succeed? Well, you'll have to watch to find out.
So, excuse the mess, I'm sorting the room out, there's trash everywhere, but I've been sat here watching my Arsenal highlights for the 19,000th time. And just stuff is moving, right? So this has moved. I thought it was because maybe one of the things is stuck in the blinds, and I closed the blinds, but that was one thing. The bike then fell, and I haven't touched this bike for like 3 weeks. It's not like this is propped up against the wall. The saddle wasn't. It's always been like that, and it just kind of rolled back. And I thought, okay, maybe the pedal slipped, but again, not on the wall. Then this bag kind of twitched in the corner of my eye. I'm pretty sure it did anyway. Obviously watching telly, so I wasn't paying attention. And I'm just kind of now trying. I tried to film other stuff when the bike moved, and I deleted that video because nothing happened. But I'm just trying to see if I'm going mad and want to catch something. I've noticed things in this flat for quite a while, but I've always put them down to like neighbours' noise or whatever it might be. But this is the first time I've kind of actually seen things move. But yeah, so I don't really know. I want something to move, and I also don't want something to move. If anything is here, please, by all means, feel free to move something. Move one of the leaves here, move one of the leaves there, I don't know, whatever you want to move. Move the bike again, or the remote here. Don't be scared. Although I am a little bit scared. It's one of those horrible situations where you kind of want to fuck off. There is no fucking way. I'm so glad I got that on recording. I don't know, I'm coughing all of a sudden. Holy shit. Oh my god, I can't believe I actually got that on film. Please move it again. You've done that much. Please feel free to move it again. This, by the way, has been propped up here for ages. This has not been moved. This has never moved before. Fucking hell, like I'm actually shaking a little bit. Sorry for swearing, by the way. Oh my god. I'm so happy that I've just got that on tape. And like this, this isn't like attached to anything. Like there's nothing attached to it. Like I haven't kicked it, I haven't moved anything. It's been, well, I don't know how it was now, but it's been kind of propped up for a long time. I'm gonna lay it down a bit more. Holy shit. I fucking knew, I absolutely knew that I had a feeling, and I can't even speak. I knew that something was going to happen. I don't know why I'm suddenly coughing. I just knew something was going to happen. Oh my fucking god. I don't know, I kind of want to keep filming. I know something's going to happen again. I can just tell. That's the fourth thing now. But yeah, at least I'm not going insane.
After beckoning the ghost to do so, it dropped his guitar, which was the worst possible thing it could have tampered with. That guitar had been there for a long time without falling, and the fact it fell so suddenly and at such a perfect time could not have been a coincidence. There was definitely a spirit in his room, and he was fortunate that there was an empty room 1 story above to move into for the same rent. Coincidentally, as this couple were watching a spooky film featuring a doll in their house decided to stick to the theme. It was 11 p.m. on a Saturday night, and Saturday was allocated as movie night in the household belonging to the couple. The week before, the woman chose to watch a romantic film, which the man found extremely boring, and since this time around it was his choice, he decided to get his revenge and choose horror. After the following happened, though, I bet he regretted his decision dearly.
And of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, by this sign of the Holy Cross of our Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with the Father and the Holy Spirit. Damien!
It's not even scary.
It is scary.
No.
You killed your mother!
You killed your mother! You killed your mother! You killed...
Coincidentally, as the doll was being creepy on screen, the one behind the woman moved. At first, it left the man speechless, but the second time was enough to make even him, who didn't fear most, get up and scream. They brought the doll to the tip that same night. In the following video, Ashraf, a young adult, had lost a bet with his friend group and his punishment was to enter an abandoned hospital for 20 minutes and film it as proof. If he failed his mission, then he would have to pay his entire friend group $100 each, which would have totaled up to nearly $1,000, money that he couldn't afford to lose. Upon entering the hospital, there was nothing in there, and he surprisingly felt a sense of warmth and comfort. It took just 10 minutes for this sense to be completely erased, though, and replaced with something horrible.
Escuchen, no manchen. Hoy. A lo mejor es el aire, amigos. A lo mejor es el aire. A lo mejor es el aire que está dando el abanico.
Y él se regresó por el otro lado. No, mire que es, amigos, fue mi imaginación. O se regresó por el otro lado, amigos. Ve cómo se desenfoca. ¿Alguien está aquí? ¿Alguien está aquí? Escucho que camina alguien. Escucho que camina alguien. Se quedó parado. Se quedó parado.
Somehow, the ceiling fan started to rotate on its own accord, except not the way it was meant to. Ceiling fans are meant to spin rapidly to generate cold air and waft it into humans. However, this one was moving eerily slowly, almost like something was pushing it, rather than an electric current doing the trick. Dolls are some of the creepiest children's toys known to man, and it's obvious why this agenda has been pushed to us all. Many horror films that include paranormal activity showcase dolls in their most creepy forms, possession, and sometimes these evil phenomenons are captured outside of Hollywood. In the following video, a trio were in the garden looking into their collection of dolls as they were certain that there was an eerie feeling surrounding them all. Just before they started recording, the doll in pink moved its arm, but that was nothing compared to its next trick.
Interesting. I really don't know what to make of these dolls. I know that they all are haunted dolls. I'm pretty much 100% sure now that they are all haunted for sure. I mean, we already know that the big one is because we've seen her move in my office. All you fans out there have seen her do something. I'm not taking her with me when I move, so if any of you are interested in that doll, please let me know, because I don't want to keep her, but I'd like her to go to a good home. I mean, if there's somebody out there that's interested. I don't... Did that...
Oh my god, that
fucking thing just move?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me?
Her freaking face just moved towards you.
Oh my god, Heather.
Like that legitly just moved.
Oh
Did you
my
see
god.
that?
Yeah, Clay, did you see that shit?
When you said you're not taking her with you?
Oh my god.
What was that?
I don't know, I just heard that.
I heard a girl's voice.
Are you serious? That wasn't one of you?
No.
Oh my god. Oh my god, she really just move?
Her face.
Oh hell no.
What the hell, Mom?
Oh my god. Heather, I got the cold chills from the top of my head to my freaking toe. Oh my god.
What the hell?
Oh my god, I cannot believe this shit.
I know, this is just insane.
This is freaking crazy, Heather.
You guys
She
will
actually
see the dog
moved.
move, and then this wind chime behind us just went crazy. Like, I don't know what to think of this. And then this doll here definitely
Wow.
moved.
I'm like blown away here. I am so blown away. The fuck is that? What is that?
The wind.
Two huge things happened in this recording that could not be ignored. First of all, whilst the eldest of the three was discussing passing the doll onto a new owner who was interested in haunted memorabilia, it tilted its head perfectly in her direction, perhaps indicating resentment towards the idea of having a new home. After this, the spirit present started to ring the bells in the back garden, forcing them all to turn around in fear. Whatever was haunting them didn't only have control of the dolls, it had control of everything around them. The family did end up moving house in the end, and passed the doll onto a collector of creepy items. He loved it to pieces, and kept it in a clear box to observe its movements, etc. At least some fun was found out of it. In the video you're about to watch, a group of people who call themselves the Memorable Supernatural INC were investigating a building which had been home to several reports of supernatural activity over the past month. So much had gone on there that it was mandatory for someone to come and see what the problem was, hence why the group were called down to take a look. They were chosen due to their huge reliability and cheap rates, making them a perfect fit for a mid-range investigation like this. Despite being labeled a mid-level search though, the events that unfolded took it way above this status. Take a look.
Você quer me matar do susto, velho? Rapaz do céu, mano. Eu rio, Lu, porque eu tô aqui, pessoal. Essa claridade pega no meu, eu não consigo ver. Igual da outra vez, ó. A luz pega, eu não consigo ver, pessoal. Não adianta o negócio aqui, fica no olho, ó. Eu não consigo ver. Rapaz do céu, moço. Rapaz, você é louco, moço. Pessoal, vou ser sincero pra vocês, cara. O coração quase voou na boca agora, mano. Você é louco? Olha, minha nossa! Olha isso! Cara do céu! Olha isso! Olha isso! Olha isso, cara! Impressionante! Isso aqui abriu, cara! Abriu aqui, ó! Rapaz! Você é louco? Ô Lu, você vai fazer o seguinte, você vai tirar essa camiseta, pera aí, não tira não. Você vai pôr outra camiseta aqui, ó. Toma essa aqui, você vai pôr essa aqui mesmo. Pega essa aí, você vai tirar, não, tira ainda não. Eu não posso filmar, senão vai me dar problema aqui no YouTube. Você vai tirar essa camiseta, você põe essa outra. Pelo que tá acontecendo aqui, entendeu? Pode ser que seja algo na roupa, mas você vai tirar essa camiseta, você põe essa.
Somehow, the cabinet shot open without any human interaction, and even closed itself, meaning that something or someone must have done it. The only problem was that nothing was in sight. After experiencing this, the man looked inside the cabinet to investigate what he could find, but nothing was on the other side. Not even the wind can make things move like that. He quickly ended that specific tape and sent it over to his boss, who was compiling a file for the people paying them to do this job. This evidence would be minor compared to the other things they would capture though. Later on in the day, the group decided to have a little rest, as they had been searching for the entire day when a disturbance decided to disrupt them. It was very weird and looked extremely unnatural. Even the experts back in their company couldn't explain what kind of spirit caused it.
Você vai tirar a camiseta aí, ok, Lúcio? Isso, vai com jeito, tira a camiseta. É isso, Lúcio. Tá dando certo aí? Então tá. Não posso filmar você tirando, tá certo. É isso. Bom, vamos estar com outra camiseta agora, pessoal. Opa! Cadê a camiseta, Lúcio? Cadê a camiseta, velho? Cadê a camiseta? Aonde, moço? Aonde, velho? Rapaz, caça aí, cadê a camiseta? Moço, onde foi parar? Isso que eu posto aqui, a camiseta, eu troquei por aqui.
Pode ver ali, ó, não tá ali. Ai, meu Deus.
Minha nossa, dá uma olhada aí atrás.
Aí.
Olha isso, pessoal. Ai. Cara do céu, velho. Arrasta esse sofá. Arrasta esse sofá. Arrasta.
Shockingly, the carpet slung itself off from the sofa onto the floor, and the duo in the room were taken very aback from this. They called for the other 3 people upstairs to come and see if they could detect something, but by the time they arrived on scene, all evidence of a sighting was gone. Now the group had more than enough evidence of paranormal activity, and they decided to give one big attempt to get rid of whatever was haunting the property. Their contract with the house owner stated that if they were able to get rid of the spirit, then they would be paid an additional $300, a bonus that no man could possibly turn down. They set up their equipment in the kitchen and gave one big attempt. It's up to you to decide how that went in the comments.
Tem jeito que eu levanto o braço aqui, mas eu tava olhando pra ela, não queria perder um momento aqui. Você sentiu algo aqui agora? Quem é que está aqui neste lugar? O que você sentiu, Lúcio?
Calafrio, parece que tinha algo perto atrás de mim.
O que é isso? O que é que você tá sentindo?
Calafrio, uma coisa esquisita, parece que tem algo.
Tá tremendo a mão, Lúcio? Olha o jeito da vela, cara. É torta ou não é, pessoal? Hã? Meu nome é Ulisses Deadline. E eu sei que minha presença desloca espíritos obscuros de lugares e cantos como esse. Quem é que está aqui? Opa, que é isso? Que é isso? Rapaz! Minha nossa, vocês viram o jeito que mexeu isso aqui, cara? Cara, é impressionante. Minha nossa. Você é louco? Lúcio, calma, Lúcio. Calma. Eu vou estar fazendo uma limpeza aqui no local. Cara, eu tô inteiro arrepiado, cara. É impressionante ou não é? É impressionante ou não é? Olha isso. Olha isso. Rapaz. Deixa eu ficar com o Lúcio aqui, ó. Eu vou estar fazendo uma limpeza aqui neste local. Nós vamos estar fazendo uma limpeza aqui nesse local, Lúcio. Cara, é impressionante ou não é? Você é louco pra mim, deu.
In the middle of their ritual to communicate with the ghost and identify its reason for being present, the chairs started moving, and this wasn't a good sign. While you are communicating with a ghost, it's a bad sign if it begins to move objects without being prompted to do so. This was happening here and closed their report for the day. The group decided that $300 wasn't enough to deal with a ghost of this manner. Their negotiations failed, and the owner looked for someone else to do the trick. This man was home alone when suddenly the light started to flicker all around him. He had no idea what to do, so he instinctively reached for his phone to record what was going to happen next. If he didn't, then there was no doubt he would be called crazy by anyone he dared to share the story with. He explained after the incident that it was the spookiest moment of his life and he wouldn't get paid to live it again. Let me know if you think he was exaggerating in the comments. I certainly don't.
Amigo, o estoy loco o se está moviendo la mesa del comedor sola. Mira. O sea, ¿ves? ¿Ves que se está moviendo eso? Y la mesa recién se estaba moviendo ahí, boludo. Mirá, 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 boludo. ¿Qué mierda? What the fuck?
The table moved very aggressively in a way which could have quite easily harmed the man behind the camera. He claimed that a feeling of cold wept over him as the table moved and his hairs stood up on his arms, both common signs that a spirit was having some good fun. The next day, the same man was on his sofa in the living room watching television, and all of a sudden the air purifier unplugged itself. Following the same sequence as the day before, he took out his camera and started filming to see what evidence he could gather. And to his dismay, it wasn't good.
Amigo, ¿te acordás que te dije que tengo un espíritu en mi casa, chabón? Mirá la silla. ¿Ves, boludo? ¡Ay, qué impresión, amigo!
The chair moved right in front of his eyes, which proved to everyone he wanted to share the event with that nothing he said was fake. Whatever this ghost was, it was safe for the man to say that it wasn't a shy one. Alex, an adult fairly new into the adult world, had recently inherited his grandma's house, and he was pleased that she decided to pass it on to him. He had been really struggling financially since finishing college and never managed to get into university, so an inherited place to stay was the most helpful thing in the world. Although pleased with his property though, he was of course upset about his grandma's passing and cried quite frequently about it. They were very attached when he was younger. He was going to miss her, but little did he know that she was right next to him.
Okay, I am up here where all the different, scary activity has happened, and I'm hearing what sounds like somebody walk around on the floorboards. As I'm up here, I can feel, the pressure of steps landing around me. I don't really know what's going on. It just seems pretty fucking crazy to me. I don't know. This is not what I signed up for when I got this house.
Whilst walking around upstairs, the perfect silhouette of his grandma was standing in the doorway, and after slowing it down, Alex was even more certain that he knew what he was looking at. Upon alarming the rest of his family though, they explained that he was in a time of grief, and what he captured was probably just a reflection or a shadow, essentially deeming him to be crazy. Do you agree? Give your thoughts down below and subscribe whilst you're down there. Storage buildings are some of the most eerie places someone can visit. Take that from someone who used to visit them every other day. These places are literal corridors that stretch very far and usually have nobody else on them, making it feel empty. It's the closest thing humanity has to the back rooms, and that's saying something. In the upcoming clip, Wayne and Manuel, two owners of a business, were next to their storage unit, adding some new stock to it that they had just received. Little did they know, though, that someone else was in there, and they couldn't even see who.
Se escucha adentro. Se la verga.
Randomly, the sound of a child crying and screaming echoed around the storage place, and this was creepy for many reasons. Either a real child was in pain and needed help, or a paranormal spirit was messing with them. The latter was the more likely option. Over the past week, Juan had been hearing the same noises at night, and he was sure to alert his business partner that this was the case. Hurriedly, they closed their storage unit and locked it before hurrying out of the building. On their way out, they questioned the receptionist on whether or not they heard the noise, and the answer they got was shocking. The woman had not heard a peep. Home they went. Once they arrived home, Juan decided to do some paperwork in his office and closed the door to make sure no disturbances took him out of his working state of mind. However, something was already in there with him, and it did exactly what he wanted to avoid. Out of the blue, tons of items started falling off shelves, and no, there was not a magnitude 10 earthquake going on. In fact, there wasn't an earthquake at all. The duo still deal with the so-called storage spirit to this day and have no idea how to get rid of it. Feel free to help them in the comments in case they see this. On October the 25th of 2023, nearing 10 p.m., a family were all settling down before getting ready for bedtime. The mother was laying down in the living room after a long day of work while the kids were all talking to each other at the table, full of energy, as always. The night was one of the most normal ones the family had ever had. barely any arguments and a couple of tired parents, however, things were going to get weird much quicker than expected. Randomly, some demonic noises started to be heard, and the mother of the family asked the children what they were doing. She was used to them messing around and causing chaos, so of course they were the first people she pinned blame onto. However, they denied everything. Too tired to argue, the woman rolled back into rest, but this is when the entire sofa moved out of the blue. Stuff like that does not happen naturally. There must have been a ghost present. In the following video, a young and innocent girl was showing off her doll's cutlery when it suddenly decided to show its gratitude. She owned the doll for over 6 years, and her parents insisted on purchasing some new cosmetics every month if she was good. She had just received some at the time of this recording. It was approximately 3 p.m. when she decided to show the new cutlery set, and things got creepy fast.
Cuchilla. Ahora tengo dos tenedores así, uno rosita, igual que el cuchillo que mostré al principio, no sé si lo mostré al principio, y este tenedor amarillo. Pues tiene, que se me está cayendo todo, perdón, se me está cayendo todo. Dos cuchillos amarillos iguales, tenemos otro cuchillo amarillo, pero más como amarillo flúor. Una cuchara, un rosquete para aplanar masa, una cucharita y un tenedor. Bueno, ya. Después, las tacitas. Tengo esta tacita rosita y esta tacita como fucsia. Huevo. ¿Sí?
Strangely, the doll moved, and at first the girl didn't notice what had happened. Confused, she turned back to the camera and continued to show off her new collection, but the doll definitely wanted some recognition for its acts. It moved again, this time right in front of the poor girl's eyes, and she instinctively ran to her mother. We haven't been updated since, but what we do know is that she hasn't uploaded any doll videos. On December 26th of 2023, Isaiah, a middle-aged man, was left home alone for the night. His girlfriend, called Caroline, was out with some of her friends all evening and left Isaiah in charge of the house, which she admitted wasn't the smartest decision of her life. Her boyfriend was about as responsible as a toddler, and all she could do was pray that he wouldn't do anything stupid. Little did she know, though, that he would turn out to be the last of her worries, because just a few hours after leaving the house, this happened to Isaiah. For some strange reason, the door closed behind him once he entered the guest bedroom, followed by a banging sound from across the corridor. Out of pure fear, Isaiah ran back into his bedroom and locked the door behind him to prevent any unwanted entities from following him. Nothing else occurred that night, and he was too afraid to let his girlfriend know in case she blamed it on him and overreacted. The following video took place in a Russian household and featured a family taking some time to simply relax in their living room. They were watching some television together and discussing what board game they were going to play afterwards, with the group consensus leading to charades. But little did they know that they wouldn't even get to that stage before some weird stuff started happening. Immediately after these events, the family concluded that it must have been their grandma who was rushed to hospital after having a heart attack in the same house they were in. Unfortunately, she did not survive, and her loved ones had only recently come to terms with that fact. At least they knew now that she was still with them spiritually. The next day, most of the family had departed back to their own homes after the huge get-together, leaving the 5 who lived there and the grandfather of the family. It was roughly 3 p.m. when the boys were dismissed from the living room by their parents after keeping their grandfather company for a few hours. In their room, they sat down slandering their parents for not letting them do what they wanted earlier, and their grandmother clearly wasn't a fan of their words because she struck again, and this time she was just as prominent.
Бля, короче, ребята, нахуй, вызвали, блядь, демона. Кот, нахуй, под столом, блядь. Творится полная херня. Ёпта, бля.
Вот, блядь, дверь, сука, открылась только что, нахуй.
Бля!
Ёбаный в рот. Ебать, сука.
Нахуй, Герман, блядь, что происходит вообще?
Пиздец, я чё, ебу, что ли? Нахуй, сука.
Ёбаный.
Бля. Пиздец, нахуй, сука.
Бля, Герман. Нахуй. Бля. Короче, ребята, все, прощаемся, бля, творится полный пиздейшн, нахуй, бежим.
Somehow, several objects started to fall from countless shelves, and the 2 boys were in pure disbelief as to what to do. They sat there shouting curse words and calling the creature who caused this a demon, completely unaware of the likelihood that it was their grandmother, which the rest of the family pointed out earlier. After this bizarre incident, the boys sprinted downstairs and informed their father of what happened, and he believed them instantly considering what unfolded the day before. The mother offered the grandfather a lift home as he was terrified after hearing that things were continuing, and he accepted the offer. They both left the house, leaving the 2 boys and the father. He told them both to go to the guest room and avoid theirs whilst he cooked some dinner, so his wife had it ready when she arrived home. Even this didn't sneak by without a paranormal event, though.
Сейчас пытаюсь понять, что происходит, но какие-то аномальные явления непонятные, что у меня со стола падает всякая хрень, и вот сейчас на кухне пытаюсь поставить телефон. Оба-на! Заебись! Удачный момент.
Out of nowhere, the glass on the tabletop fell to the floor without shattering or even being damaged one bit. This was very odd, because the odds of a glass surviving a drop that high are very slim, so perhaps the ghost perfectly cushioned its fall. We'll never know. All we do know is that this has been the last publicly shared ghost encounter from the family for 6 months now, and we have no idea if they'll post another. You bet that if they do, though, I will be the first person to let you all know, so make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. This French woman was filming a TikTok using some form of medical injection. It is unknown why she was filming this video, but the likelihood is that she was educating people who might share the illness she obtained, which was very nice of her. However, during this video, one very strange thing happens, which is actually very difficult to detect. In fact, it was so hard to uncover that I had to refer to the comments to find out what was wrong, but fortunately for you, I'll explain after you watch it for yourself. At first glance, the only disturbing thing about this clip seems to be her reaction to the banging as if some spirit had caused it. It was likely due to construction happening on her road or something. However, when you zoom in at the timestamp of 37 seconds, a hand could be seen poking out of the door and quickly taking cover again. The hand was slim and very skinny, in fact so skinny that you wouldn't be able to tell it was owned by a human being. Not that it was anyway. This was the arm of a spirit, and if this wasn't enough evidence for you, no need to worry. She posted 3 more clips to her account over the following week, with the first one being a day after. Since the woman didn't initially notice what had happened, her audience were fast to flood her comments warning her of their sighting, and she was spooked after investigating the clip. Putting her brave boots on though, she revisited the room that she filmed the video in immediately after being made aware of the incident and set up her camera from a different angle. This is what happened.
Il est 3h du matin et j'arrive pas à dormir parce que j'entends tellement de bruit dans la maison que j'ai l'impression qu'elle est en travaux. Ce qui m'a empêché de dormir, c'est une porte qui claque. Il n'y a pas de vent. J'ai trouvé cette photo qui est une carte postale qui date de 1922. Truc de fou. Mais du coup, il y a plein d'objets anciens dans la maison que je retrouve au fil du temps. Et j'ai l'impression que la maison, elle a une histoire de fou malade. Genre, clairement, c'est un truc de ouf. Genre, regardez. Il y a encore des bruits, les gars, c'est dingue.
To start things off, the painting was slightly slanted, which made 0 sense considering it was never positioned like that and never tilted the way it did. Regardless, the woman pinned her logical excuse as the pin coming a bit loose, so she went to fix it, but a strange item fell from the back, which is soon to be uncovered. This item was so weird that it even took the woman time to decipher its purpose, and I'm sure it will do the same to you. Anyways, after fixing the portrait, she looked back at the door that contained the hand all those days ago and looked visibly shocked. Perhaps she saw the hand again? We never got told, but what we did get informed on was what the item behind the painting in fact was. It was a key. For the next few days, she tried to find out which door the key fitted, and eventually came to the conclusion that it was for the attic, which she had never entered due to the landlord saying the key was lost. This was very mysterious, and she went to unlock the door, but unfortunately, it did not work. This left only one possible outcome: the basement.
Non, c'est pas ici. Pire dans tout ça, c'est que je suis ici jusqu'en C. J'ai entendu un bruit. J'ai entendu un bruit, c'est une blague. Et la porte, elle est où? Non, c'est une blague. C'est quoi ce bordel? Les gars, vous avez entendu? Eh, je regarde même pas. Ma porte, elle était ouverte. En plus, on voit rien. Je vous jure, j'ai des frissons. J'espère que c'est pas là-bas. 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 La clé, elle sent le fer. Mais vraiment, elle est toute vieille. Même mes mains, maintenant, ça sent. Ah, il y a des moustiques en plus. C'est rentré, les gars. C'est quoi ce truc? Oh! C'est quoi ce bordel? Non, 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 non. Non. Non.
Same as the attic, the woman was never given access to the basement due to the previous owners losing the key. She knew that this was its purpose. She could feel it. At around 11 p.m., she creeped down the basement stairs, feeling a hint of fear, but letting her curiosity get the better of her. The door unlocked, but she never got to see what was behind it. At least that was the case on this day. For the next couple of days, she was too frightened to visit the basement again, in fear that the door would slam on her again. She contacted her best friend for advice, and she suggested that the thing slamming the door could have been an intruder, so this left her with no choice whatsoever. She put a gun in her pocket and ventured back.
On m'a toujours dit d'être rationnel, on m'a toujours dit c'est du vent, c'est du vent, c'est du vent. C'est pas possible. Allez, ça y est. Ouh, je vais y tomber. C'était du vent. Ok. C'était juste du vent. C'est quoi ce bruit? Il y a des moustiques en plus. C'est quoi cet endroit? Il y a des trucs en plus. Il y a quelqu'un? C'est quoi cet endroit? Mais attendez, j'ai jamais vu ça. Pourquoi il y a une échelle ici? Il y a encore un truc. Mais c'est un truc de malade. Oh, les gars, attendez. Il y a une pierre dehors comme ça. Ça mène à la rue. Les gars, ça mène à la rue. Il y a des gens dehors qui rentrent ici. Non, c'est une blague. En plus, regardez, il y a un truc qui a pété là-bas et tout. C'est sûr, c'est utilisé. Attendez, mais il y a des gens qui rentrent. En plus, il y a un drap en plein milieu. Ça sert à rien, ce truc. Attends. Non, 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 ça y est, ça y est. Non, non.
This time, she managed to successfully enter the basement, but it looked more like a cave than anything. She remembered her landlord explaining that there used to be a bomb shelter under the house, but everybody passed away inside it one day. Perhaps this is why the basement had such a weird feeling to it. It was the bomb shelter. The woman locked the door back up and vowed to never enter it again and disturb the entities inside. Whether she stuck to that promise, we don't know, but if she didn't, I highly doubt that the spirits gave her a break. Ashraf, a young ghost hunter new to the business, had been hired out by a company who were planning on renovating an old and abandoned hospital. The CEO of the company had their suspicions that the building had some sort of haunted entity inside it, but wasn't quite sure what. This is why they contacted Ashraf's business to do the trick, and they chose him for his first rodeo. It went well. I'll let you decide for yourself.
Nos íbamos a ir Y se escuchó un bebé. ¿Se escucha? Es un bebé, güey. ¿Hay alguien?
Strangely, the sound of a baby crying could be heard, and this was very unsettling for Ash. He expected to be recording moving objects and things of the sort, but hearing a child cry, his eyes out definitely didn't float his boat. He reported back to his boss, showing the footage of the sound, and he got scolded for not going further into the facility for some more. He received a pay cut, but did not get fired. He is now contemplating seeking work elsewhere though. He still wants to give the ghost gig a few extra tries first. This employee was doing her shift at her local convenience store, and everything was running smoothly. She was in the process of restocking some out-of-stock shelves before the store opened to the public again, but little did she know that this would turn out to be a very difficult task. This chore was known by the employees as the easiest one around, and anybody given it was being let off the hook for the day. However, this time was much different, and the reason why was very peculiar. Take a look.
Vean, 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 vean. Ahí ya empezaron a abrir también. Vean, observen. Híjole. Vamos a tratar de no acercarnos, Jorgito, porque... Vean cómo se están abriendo las puertas. Vamos a ver de aquel lado. Ahí se ve cómo se están abriendo y cerrando. Toda la tarde he estado pasando esto, e inclusive ya hay gente que se dio cuenta, clientes. Y híjole, la verdad sí es un poco temeroso. Ya le hablé a mi supervisor para que, vean, ya le hablé a mi supervisor para que viniera a ver esto que está pasando. No me cree, pero digo, quedó de venir, hasta ahorita no ha venido. Y no nos hemos atrevido a ir a la parte de atrás en la cámara porque pues nos da un poco de temor, ¿no? Porque pues esto es algo sobre...
Somehow, the refrigerator doors took in turns opening and closing, which was an impossible event to happen without any human interaction. At least, that is what society deemed it to be, because it happened. Theorists suggest that a spirit was in the room doing this, and some more information given to us by the creator further backed up these claims. They explained that the room had a cold feeling to it immediately after the first door opened, and this is a common sign of a paranormal entity being present. Whatever they encountered that day was not nice, and they most certainly didn't want to see it in the store again. On a fateful winter night, two brave men ventured to their local graveyard to give their grandma's tombstone a visit. She had been gone for 3 years now, and this was what they called her death anniversary. In their family, they celebrated the lives of their passed away loved ones on the day they left, and it was a very wholesome and cool idea. Nothing had ever gone wrong while they hosted these days, and it seemed harmless, until their grandma came to give them a visit. At least they assumed it was her. I guess they'll never know for sure.
Entidad nos cierra esta puerta, miren lo que pasa.
Sí, se mira bien ahí va. Si estás aquí con nosotros, manifiéstate. Queremos verte. Queremos saber que estás aquí. Mucho. ¿Lo viste?
Sí, se cerró. ¿Estás aquí con nosotros?
¡Uy! ¿Quién eres? Se cerró la puerta, güey. Se acaba de cerrar la puerta, neta. Se miró bien clarito que se cerró. Mira. ¿Hay alguien aquí adentro?
¿Quieres jugar con nosotros?
Niño, ¿dónde estás?
¿Quieres jugar con nosotros?
Mira, güey. Mira.
Está moviendo más.
Güey, ¿qué? Se está moviendo, güey. No manches, güey, se está moviendo. Mira, pues no hay nada, güey. Mira, ay. Niño, ¿en qué parte te encuentras?
The fence surrounding their grandma's grave opened by itself, and then immediately closed, which freaked the duo out to an insane extent. At first, they were ready to turn around and make a run for it, but they decided to stay in case it truly was the spirit of their gran. For a few moments afterwards, peace was present and nothing really happened, but it didn't take long for strange noises to start playing around the yard. This phenomenon still cannot be explained to this day, and the duo are sure of themselves that they encountered their grandma. Again though, they'll never know. Roughly 3 years ago today, a young man who worked at the hospital captured a piece of footage that sent the hospital staff crazy. Alongside social media, the clip was so unexplainable that nobody knew what the next step should be, despite trying very hard to come up with a logical solution for it. It took place in Manzanillo Hospital, and the man who filmed the event was so frightened from it that he was dismissed as a doctor in that specific clinic and worked in a room on the first floor. Have a watch. Now, at first glance, it was very hard to determine what actually happened here, but after digging deeper, I found out for you guys, which is why you should subscribe. 14 seconds into the clip, the head of a human being, except faint and dull, peeped around at the doctor, and he was left standing in disbelief. At first, the hospital launched a full search for an intruder, but no one was found on site, and the mystery is still empty to this day. Trains are usually really safe methods of transport, with safety precautions implemented all across them. There is one huge problem with this transport method though, and it's that when the night falls, they change completely. What usually turns out to be a relaxed and speedy train journey morphs into a spooky and isolated night, where creeps and criminals run galore in the carriages. The upcoming clip was recorded at 11:30 p.m. during the dark hours of public transport, and let's just say that it lived up to the fear I've just described it to induce. Randomly, the sound of a girl screaming could be heard from inside the man's carriage, and of course, he was super confused. He looked left and right to try and spot whoever it was, in case he could provide help, but no one else was inside it. An important note is that that specific train hosted one carriage as well, so the noise mustn't have been from on board. When the man arrived home, he scanned the news to research if anything happened on the route he was traveling that night, and no articles were discovered. Could this have truly been a spirit? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. On October the 13th of 2023, Miguel was having the best day of his life. He had received so many good deeds on that day that he said he couldn't compare it to another day in his life, and it was by far his favorite, until a spirit came and ruined it all. Life was literally going perfect, and seemingly nothing was against him on this specific October 13th, but all of this was moments away from no longer being the reality. The start of this clip can easily be blamed on the wind, but trust me, it gets much more real as time goes on.
Son casi las 3 de la mañana. Escuché a alguien, pero literalmente llamándome. Acá. Ahí está. No sé si se escuchará. Literalmente creo que me llamaron por mi nombre. Yo estaba medio dormido. No les voy a mentir. Me da miedo. Voy a tratar de captar
Es como mi método de defensa, ¿viste? Quiero ver si... Quiero ver si se ve algo, ¿no? Ay, mira. Esto que está acá me pasa siempre. Eso lo... pasó. Se hizo la concha. No sé si llega.
Andate, hijo de puta. Sos hijo de puta.
Despite the moving objects, Miguel wasn't completely convinced that something out of the ordinary was happening since there was a slight breeze in the air. However, seconds after making the decision in his head to go back inside, a tall, unnatural shadow figure stood right in front of him, and it was very intimidating. Using survival instincts, Miguel launched a pot at the figure, but it didn't move an inch. In fact, it went through and hit the shed door behind. It vanished shortly after, but Miguel couldn't unsee it and still can't to this day. These two Japanese men were approached by a real estate agent, offering them the deal of their lifetime. They put a pretty big house on the table for a fee way below average, and knowledgeably, the duo knew that something was fishy due to the deal being so unrealistic. They actually owned a YouTube channel titled Japanese Horror Entertainment and made a lot of their money exploring haunted locations, so they immediately thought of ghosts when questioning why the house was valued at such a low cost. They were right, and they were about to prove it through an investigation. It was roughly 3:30 in the morning when the upcoming clip was captured, and it was posted to their YouTube channel, which I mentioned earlier, Japanese Horror Entertainment. If you want to watch the full 20-minute experience, it's available on YouTube at OMG Film, and we're only covering a very small segment.
事故物件ではないっては言うんだけど、
あ、そうなんですね。
そうそうそう、なんかね、煮え切らんというか、なんか全部はなんかこう話してない感じがしたもん。
At the door, an unsettling face could be seen squashing itself against the glass. Initially, the man stood there in silence and made sure to get a good shot of the face, but eventually he decided to walk towards it. Once he got close though, it vanished out of thin air. Fishing is an activity practiced for many reasons. Some people do it in the wild for survival, needing the fresh meat that the sea creatures require to survive. On the other hand, people simply do it as a leisure activity, finding fun in catching what they can, and then releasing them back in the water to continue their life. In the video you are about to watch, the man was out catching fish for fun when something extremely disturbing happened upon arrival back to his base camp. The area had a toilet block, which was unisex and public to any people passing by. This is why the man was so concerned once he heard what he did coming from inside.
Yo, what the What the? Bro. There's nobody in here. Yo!
Strangely, the sound of a human, seemingly a female, screaming echoed around the base camp, and this was very disturbing. Being the brave man the fisher was though, he decided to enter the bathroom in case someone genuinely needed help. This was when he found nobody though. Graveyards are the most likely places in the world for someone to experience paranormal activity, and this is why they are such spooky locations at nighttime. Wandering around these places gives off an eerie feeling, and it is understandable why considering how many dead people lie underneath you. The following video was captured in a graveyard and showcases one of the rare scenarios where a ghost was caught in the act on camera. Take a look.
Espíritu, alguna entidad, algún demonio de este lugar, quiero que me hagas un ruido y estás aquí conmigo. Solamente queremos ahí te encuentras con nosotros. Te estoy invocando y estás aquí conmigo. Solamente quiero saber que estás aquí conmigo. Ay, ya madre, no mames, no mames. Uy, oh madre, no manches, no manches, no manches, no manches, no manches, no manches. No manches, no manches, no manches. Uy, oh madre. Uy, yo sé que te encuentras aquí. Yo sé que te encuentras en este lugar, queremos verte. Yo sé que te encuentras aquí. Ay, me dio miedo. Solamente queremos saber quién eres, qué es lo que necesitas. ¿Qué es lo que necesitas? Vieron, amigos, vieron.
Weirdly, the door opened on its own accord, and after revealing what was behind it, things got even scarier. Nothing. The fact that there was nothing visible in the area meant that something from the dead side of the world was tampering with the man that night, and it's safe to say he didn't enjoy it. These two women were getting ready to leave the house, but little did they know what was about to happen if they followed through. They had both been invited to their friend's 40th birthday party and had spent the entire morning getting ready for the event. They did their makeup, purchased new dresses, and even went as far as buying a very expensive present. It was undoubtedly going to be an amazing night, at least until they checked the cameras afterwards. Just as they left the room to leave for the party, they got a notification for movement in their room and decided to leave it and look later. Thank the Lord they did. Somehow, an item moved by itself the second they left, and they still haven't found out why to this day. The ashes of loved ones are often kept by families to always remember those who passed away. When someone dies, they have the option to be cremated or buried, and they make this choice prior to death. If they choose to be cremated, then the family has the option to keep hold of the ashes from the burning, and the owner of the upcoming Airbnb did this. He decided to place the ashes on the piano because she always loved to play it at night, but the guests of the Airbnb far from loved it. Confused? Watch the clip.
Okay, I usually do not, or I never have believed in like haunted stuff, okay? But I'm out at Skinny Atlas Lake, the Fingers Lakes in upstate New York. And the Airbnb I'm staying at, the guy did say, just FYI, we do have people say that they hear a piano play at night. And I thought it was bullshit. And I swear to God, I've heard it. It plays. There's nobody fucking in here. I'm going to walk over here. So in case I die, I have a documentation of it, okay? It's an old house. It's on a beautiful lake, though. But I did find out the guy who owns the place, daughter died in a car wreck. And her ashes are on the piano. God, I get chills. But that's the piano. And it plays at night. And it freaks me out. I have chill bumps just being in this room. I do not get a good vibe. But it's scary as shit.
Supposedly, the piano started playing at night, and the story is believable considering how dark the piano was, looming in the shadows. However, some people need to see it to believe it, and the creator of this video posted a second, actually capturing the piano on camera whilst it played. Undeniable proof.
I'm fucking telling you, this place is fucking haunted. You heard that?
Yeah, I can't do this shit. It's so scary.
No, you go in there with me.
Yes. You have to go first.
Stay behind me. Fuck you. It fucking keeps playing, I swear. No, dude, I'm not going up in that bitch. It's this piano, I swear to God it is. No, dude, you got me fucked up. If I die, I swear, I will. Oh, shit! Dude, no.
After the two men argued for a moment over who would go first, they eventually went into the room and nothing happened, but not for long. A singular note was played on the piano, and they were both sent running to the local bar to drink their fear away. It took them 3 hours to return. On November 16th of 2013, Marcus, a young man, was in his apartment with his roommate when one of the weirdest things of his life happened. It was getting late, and he and Johnny, the roommate, decided they would go to sleep, so they had enough energy for their early lecture the next day. They brushed their teeth, washed their faces, and followed their regular routines before going to their beds. This is the exact moment that the apartment suddenly filled with cold.
Rato que escuché algo, ¿viste? Uy. Uy, no, voy a prender la luz. Uy, voy a ver algo en el baño, el vaso. Uy, chamo. Ronnie, parate, chamo. Hey. Ronnie. Uy, la luz. Chamo, parate. ¡Ey, Ronnie! ¡Ay! ¡Ay, chamo! ¡Uy! ¡Chamo! ¡Chamo, parate!
For some unknown reason, the door to the closet moved in Marcus's room, and he didn't know how to react other than beckoning for his roommate's assistance. Moments after ending the recording, Johnny stormed into the room, and all of a sudden the feeling of coldness left the household. Marcus still vividly remembers the event to this day, and always tells it as a story. Children's songs can be the most wholesome things on the planet. They educate kids on all sorts of things, and help them develop in general, serving the same purpose as children's stories. However, in some scenarios, these heartwarming tunes can turn into gut-wrenching nightmares and make things extremely demented. You see, at night, when there is nobody around, all these songs do is add to the eerie feeling that a ghost is hovering around the area, and in the following video, this was most definitely the case.
No, 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 no. No. No, no, no. No, 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 no puede ser. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. ¿A qué? ¿Me vas a comer? No, 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 me vas a comer. Me vas a comer bien la pija, ¿sabes? Ya paranormal. Yo huevo, Ahí va. Tuki, Ahí va. Ahí va. Ahí está. Perfecto. Ahí está. Actividad paranormal. La verga. No, chupame.
Disturbingly, the vehicle started playing the popular song Baby Shark, except it wasn't the same as usual. It made the room cold and tormented the victim so much that he was forced to put it outside. This is when things escalated to the next level and the door started knocking. He needed to stop recording and fueling the creature. He explained afterwards that the knocking continued for a good 17 minutes before coming to a halt, and he was given peace for the rest of the night. To his daughter's dismay though, he threw the vehicle into the trash, but made it up to her by purchasing a new one the next week. All he could do was hope that it wouldn't also be haunted. After purchasing the new bike for his daughter, things went fine for a solid week. He became so convinced that the house had no spirits in it that he finally turned off the air purifier, which he believed would help them. Little did he know that this was the worst mistake of his life, because just 3 hours after doing this act, all hell broke loose.
Vaya, pues. Estaba escuchando unos ruidos que venían de la pieza acá. ¿Qué mierda esto? Siempre tiene que pasar a la noche, hermano. Siempre tiene que pasar a la noche, brother. ¿Vos qué onda? ¿Vas a hablar ahora vos? ¿Vas a hablar? No vas a hablar, no vas a hablar. No sé la verdad, qué decir. Mirá, escúchame. Punto número uno. Si vos pensás que me va a asustar cerrando y abriendo puertita, me podés comer bien los huevos, ¿está? Punto 2. Si te gusta abrir y cerrar puertita, me podés limpiar los platos, barrer un poquito, ¿sí? Y punto 3, me voy a dormir y te vas a dejar de romper las pelotas, ¿estamos? Nada, es increíble. Bueno, bienvenidos a mi sitcom.
Out of nowhere, he couldn't find his daughter and searched the entire house for her. It was after checking her room, though, that the door slammed shut and he was taken very aback due to nobody being in there while he searched it. What made things even stranger is that the father decided to go to his ex house to see if she visited her, but she wasn't there. It was when he arrived home that his daughter was laying on her bed, like nothing happened in the first place. It was the morning of the solar eclipse, and the following family were really excited to see it. They were quite a young family compared to other ones, and the children especially weren't able to recall an eclipse happening in their lifetime. This called for some big hype towards the event, and they woke up very early out of excitement. I bet they regretted this though, because little did any of them know that the eldest child, Justin, was going to encounter a spirit that day. If you listen closely, you can hear a voice asking how Justin found it, but we don't know what it was yet, and neither did Justin. He ran upstairs to his mother's room, who decided to post the footage to social media and explain what happened publicly so that everyone could understand the story. And it was a very creepy story time, to say the least.
When he dropped his noodles, he ran upstairs, came busting in my room, jumping all over my bed, hiding in the corner, screaming and hollering, saying he didn't want to die. Somebody was in the house, telling me to get mine because somebody was in the house. And I'm like trying to tell him to calm down, be quiet, so I can hear what he's saying. Like, nobody's in the house. I kept telling him, nobody's in the house, like, calm down. What is wrong? What happened? But like, he kept yelling, and I'm like, calm down. So then I call my dad, and I'm like, Dad, man saying somebody in the house, he won't get out of my room so that I can get them out the closet so I could figure stuff out, and he would not move. We started hearing footsteps. I mean, big, heavy feet coming up the steps. So like now at this point, I'm terrified. I throw my robe on. I push him into the room with his brothers. I started coming down the steps with nothing in my hands. At this point, I'm just thinking I'm going to have to knock somebody backwards up the steps and just do what I got to do at this point because I got 5 kids in here. So I come down the steps. I'm like, I'm going to get my hammer because my hammer is normally in my closet, but I know it's downstairs.
Fortunately, after going down the stairs to check what was coming up, the mother found nothing at all, and she was very confused. Was this the act of a spirit? Let me know what you think in the comments.